here. I'm going with brains over biceps this time.
You actually chose Grey Matter for once. I'm impressed.
Hey guys, it's MegaRobert from MegaRobertTV, and today I'm going to review the next 2 episodes of Ben 10. So last review, I made a prediction saying that the next couple of Ben 10 episodes were going to be really good, and I said that because I'd seen a preview of an episode riding the storm out, which hasn't officially come out yet, and after seeing that one, that episode was just awesome. So I realized that the Ben 10 series was going to go in a really good direction. So after watching these 2 episodes, what do I think about my prediction? I was 100% right, because these 2 episodes, Clown College and Something I Ate, are both really fun episodes and just really great episodes by themselves. So the Ben 10 series is definitely going in a great direction, but I'll get to that in 1 second. So let's jump into the review. So the first episode, Clown College, starts out where Ben and Gwen are visiting Grandpa Max's old college. And we actually get a little bit of a backstory on Grandpa, and it's not the backstory where we find out that he's a plumber who saved the entire universe, but rather it's a backstory where we find out that Grandpa Max used to play badminton in college. And it plays a pretty big role in the episode because it starts out where Grandpa Max is meeting up with all his old college buddies, and these guys are definitely not in college anymore. They're really old guys, and it's so funny how it starts out where these guys are just like, hey Max, how you doing? You know, I got 2 new knees, and he's getting a new hip next month, and you know, man, we miss the days where we were playing badminton on the field, and you know, it's just all these old guys getting together and you know, thinking about the past, and of course Ben is completely bored by this. But it's really funny because in these 11 minutes, it's really hard to introduce characters that, you know, we're gonna really like and only see them for a couple minutes. But these old guys, the second they got on screen, I mean, they have a lot of stuff in this episode, but the second they got on the screen, I just really liked them. Because not often do we actually see Max's friends from when he was younger, unless, you know, they're friends from, like, you know, when he was a plumber or when he was saving the universe in outer space. But besides that, we never really see Grandpa Max's old buddies, and in this episode, we do, and they're actually really fun characters. So, old men aside, there's actually a lot more to this episode where we're reintroduced to Zombozo, the evil clown from the original series. And I gotta say, in this series, he is still a really creepy clown. Now, he's not as creepy as he was from the original series, because if you guys remember back in that episode, The Last Laugh from the first season of Ben 10, man, that was a pretty scary episode where it was him and Ghost Freak, you know, and he was stealing the souls of people, and that was pretty insane. This series, you know, so far, it doesn't really reach that level of, like, total dark, you know, scariness, but still his design is just pretty creepy. In this series, Ben, from what we can see so far, is actually not afraid of clowns, and I've actually seen a preview of an upcoming Ben 10 episode where we find out that Ben in this series is actually scared of something that isn't clowns, it's something else, but I don't want to spoil what it is. But just for today's review, Ben is not afraid of clowns, so it makes it a little easier for Ben to fight Zombozo in this episode because he doesn't have that fear. But still, you know, besides all that, Zombozo is still a pretty creepy clown, and his big plan for this episode is that he's going to go to the football game, and during the halftime show, while he's entertaining people, he's gonna steal all their wallets by taking over their minds. And of course, Ben's gotta stop him, and you know, that's basically what the plot of the episode is. And the conclusion of the episode has to be my favorite, because it's where Ben is fighting Zombozo and he realizes he can't fight him alone. He's gonna need some help from some older heroes. So he goes to Max and the old badminton players, and they all team up and they go and they fight off the evil clowns. And it's really cool to see all the old guys with their tennis rackets, or not their tennis rackets, their badminton rackets, just knocking out these clowns and, like, you know, hitting their gas bombs right back at him. And it's pretty fun, but of course these old guys can't fight all the clowns alone, and they're just all, you know, surrounded by these clowns, and they're like, oh man, if only our old coach was here from back when we were in college, he would have motivated us. And then out of nowhere, the old coach, Coach Keen, comes and he's like, Tennyson, hold your racket high just like you used to in college. You gotta go and win. And it's just like, oh my gosh, they brought back the coach for this episode, and it's the first time we've met all of these characters, but yet they're so lovable. They're just really fun characters. And of course, Zombozo in the end gets beaten by all these old men and Ben. And you know, it's just a really fun episode, and I really had a good time with it. And hopefully these guys make a comeback soon. I mean, maybe it won't happen so soon because, you know, how many episodes can you have with all these old guys in it? But it's a really fun episode, you know, I really enjoyed it. So the next episode, Something I Ate, is where Grandpa Max takes Ben and Gwen to a mint factory where they make all the gold. And where there's gold, there's supervillains. And the supervillain for this episode is Dr. Animo. And the second I saw him on screen, it was just my mind was blown because we already had an Animo-themed episode, Animo Farm. But in that episode, Dr. Animo didn't make an appearance at all. So everybody on the internet was just like, I guess they didn't pay the voice actor for Dr. Animo, and he's not going to be in this series. And everyone was kind of disappointed. But no one knew that he was going to show up in this episode, and that's just crazy. So the plot of the episode is that Dr. Animo sends this giant purple monster into the mint factory so that it can eat all the gold and bring it back to Dr. Animo. But of course, this giant monster doesn't want to eat gold, it wants to eat candy. So it's going into the factory, eating all this metal, all this gold, and it's kind of getting sick to its stomach because it's looking for candy, and it's just eating more, and eventually the monster accidentally eats Grandpa Max. And Ben and Gwen are just like, oh my gosh, that thing just ate Grandpa Max, so we gotta get him out of there. And Ben says to himself, like, usually I would pick forearms and just punch this thing until it throws up Grandpa Max, but I don't want to hurt Grandpa, so instead this time I'm gonna pick brains over brawn. And he transforms into gray matter. It's just like, yes, I've wanted to see a gray matter episode for so long because we haven't really seen him since the original series, because after that, we went into Alien Force Ultimate Alien and we didn't see any gray matter transformations because Ben just didn't have that alien. And then when he did get him, he just never used him because he had better aliens like Brainstorm or Jury Rig. But now in this series, we get to see gray matter again, and we get to see him as one of the most useful aliens that Ben has, because the whole episode is basically Ben going inside of the beast as gray matter. We get to see gray matter's really smart brain get him out of all these situations. So, I was just glad to see gray matter this whole time. And I could give more of a summary on what happens in the episode, but basically it could be just summarized down to, gray matter just doing what gray matter does, saving the day with his smart intellect. And it was a really good episode, and basically it ends where Dr. Animo's monster is defeated. But, I really like this episode. You guys definitely have to check it out, especially if you're a gray matter fan. And besides that, question of the day. What do you guys think about these two episodes? Tell me in the comment section below. So yeah, this is MegaRobert signing off.